Chairman Kelly, Ranking Member Courtney, and members of the subcommittee. Thank you for having me here today to talk about the challenges the Navy is facing with shipbuilding and getting critical capabilities out to the fleet. I will discuss the persistent outcomes we have seen over the past 2 decades, the causes for the outcomes, and what the Navy can do to drive systemic change with the broad support it has from Congress. The reality is we have no more ships today than we did back in 2003 when the Navy released its first 30-year shipbuilding plan, calling for a substantial increase in fleet size. That's a serious problem, especially at a time when our near-peer adversaries are rapidly expanding their fleets and fielding advanced technologies that could shift the balance of power away from the United States. The Navy's issues aren't new. For the last 2 decades, we've reported that the Navy's shipbuilding approach consistently leads to outcomes like cost overruns, schedule delays, and ships that don't provide the expected capabilities. We've also found that the current system isn't setting up the Navy and private industry's talented and hardworking people for success. It's actually making their jobs harder. The Navy's poor shipbuilding performance stems from a myriad of issues. For instance, the Navy's budget and acquisition processes don't use the successful approaches of commercial companies that our work has found can be thoughtfully applied to Navy shipbuilding programs. The frigate program is a prime example. The Navy failed to ensure a stable design before starting construction, a leading practice in successful commercial shipbuilding. And as a result, the lead ship is now delayed at least 3 years. And construction has stalled as the Navy and shipbuilder try and figure out if the ship can even be built. Further, to secure funding, the Navy often creates optimistic business cases. These business cases are frequently approved, although they don't always reflect what is achievable with time, money, technology, or capacity available. They then subsequently unravel during lead ship construction or even before. This requires that the Navy divert resources from other priorities to shore up its existing shipbuilding programs and delays the delivery of needed capabilities to the fleet. And it's not just ships. The Navy has struggled to field other critical capabilities needed to maintain maritime dominance. For example, the Navy has funded work on robotic autonomous systems for over 30 years, yet it has very few fielded assets to show for it. The challenges also don't stop with the budgeting and acquisition processes. As has been mentioned, the Navy is also dealing with private shipyards that are aging and workforce shortages that are further contributing to the negative shipbuilding outcomes. Our work has shown private industry has been reluctant to invest on its own to address these issues. The Navy and DoD have invested billions of dollars. However, the Navy doesn't have a strategy to address these issues or credible measures to ensure that the billions of dollars in government investments that are supported by the Congress in this industrial base will actually make a difference. The bottom line, marginal change will not fix the persistently poor outcomes, and more money alone is not the solution. If the Navy doesn't look introspectively and make bold systemic changes, the consequences are only going to get worse. Technology is evolving fast, and our adversaries are not waiting around for us to catch up. Our almost 60 open recommendations related to shipbuilding can provide a path forward for the Navy. For example, the Navy could establish a more agile and acquisition and budgeting processes so that programs are structured for iteration to deliver capability quickly and add capability as technology advances and threats change. They could leverage quality information that includes realistic assessment of risk to inform program cost and schedule estimates. They could develop and leverage digital tools to gain information about design feasibility earlier and better incorporate feedback from the fleet. And then use this information to ensure ship designs are stable before making major commitments to buy new ships. With the Navy pressing to keep pace with near-peer adversaries that are growing increasingly capable, the cracks in its approach to acquisition are more pronounced than ever. If the Navy continues with business as usual, we should expect these cracks to create an increasingly stark divide between the Navy's aspirations for a larger, more capable fleet and reality. Without change, this reality could manifest as a shrinking, less capable fleet which ultimately is unable to project the superior force the Navy has at its disposal today. Chairman Kelly, Ranking Member Courtney, and members of the subcommittee, this concludes my statement. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.